At this point, I'm like, I know I'm in control of the wave, and I know I'm shoving it in. It's probably a detriment to how I normally play, in that especially on Tristana, my wave control is pretty garbage. This is going to crash really hard, and it's crashing too hard to be able to make a play. We're at level 2. They haven't done anything, and it's going to be past the point of being able to like actually make a play here early, though. Like, even before the Kaisa showed up, should I have just not been doing some of those extra autos to kind of slow the push a bit?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if you have like full control over the wave here, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, we knew that Kaisa, was helping Lee Shear, or maybe she backed, or like whatever, but we knew we were gonna have like control of the first couple waves here.
Yeah.
So ideally, you don't want to push the second wave. You want to slow push it so it doesn't actually start pushing forward until the third wave. And so if the third wave is here when we're crashing,
Yeah.
then one, it's a much bigger wave, and so it's going to take them a lot longer to get it off their tower, and it also gives you enough gold to reset. It gives you enough gold and time to reset, and you can usually buy like a coal.
Okay.
And a free coal where you don't lose anything for buying it at like 2.5 minutes, or 240 or whatever it is, is a really great start.
Okay.
It's kind of hard. This is one of those things about like Tristana, like I was saying, like because she's like auto pushing, it's a lot harder to do stuff like that, and she changes the rules of the wave management. But the goal is to do that, and so I would, like you brought up, I would definitely get rid of some of those extra autos to try and make that happen.
Okay.
It might be that that's harder to make happen because of her E, but that's the goal.
Yep.
Okay, so we're crashing second wave.
So here I'm stepping up, and I'm thinking about trying. Like, I see Pike stepping up really far, and I got one auto in. I was trying to harass him a little bit, and we were able to get a little bit of damage on Pike, but Thresh took a bit of damage. At this point, I'm thinking about just trying to continue to crash the wave under the tower so I can keep trying to poke them because of how far up Pike was.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was continuously trying to do that, and knowing that I was trying to get it into the tower, and kind of, if I could eventually get things to kind of bounce back a little bit. And I had the first blood gold as well, so I was trying to be able to push things in to be able to find a way to back early to be able to spend that gold to kind of press an advantage. But
yeah, so whenever you're in this spot where you're crashing that second wave instead of the third, like we were talking about, here, let me back this up. Okay, yeah, here's crashing the second wave. I like that you're trying to get some free damage in while he's like clearing minions. Totally fine. But so, and this is all fine. Ideally, you don't want to be putting all your damage on the Pike here. You want to be putting it on the Kaisa, because like she's the one that's going to be CSing. She's the one that you want to pressure out of lane. And especially Pike is going to regain because of his gray health, so like it's less effective poke. But I understand like what you're going for. Like, you didn't necessarily mean for that heavy of a trade, so I don't think it's too big of a deal. But whenever you're at this point here, so like the third wave just hit, and then we're kind of stuck in this little spot here right in front of their tower. This is a really bad spot for you. Because you and Thresh are wanting to like in an ideal world, you want Thresh to land a hook, and then you want to jump on him, put your bomb on, kill the Kaisa, right?
Yeah.
Right in front of their tower, that's going to be extremely hard to do, right? It's going to be very easy for her to like flash under tower and be safe, or your Pike can dash away, or whatever. Like, it's going to be very hard to like actually get a kill here. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to actually let this wave bounce, because if you don't do nothing here, if you don't touch the wave will push back towards you. So if you just just do the absolute minimum amount of autos and let it push back, then you can do exactly what you're doing, where you're like looking for a little free damage, maybe look to get a kill or whatever, but do it like here.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Also, it makes it a lot safer if you're doing it here rather than where you are. Because at this point, it's 2.5 minutes. We don't know where the Amumu is, right?
Yeah.
We suspect, like I said at the beginning, that he started on his bot side.
Yep.
And he could 3-camp bot side and come down if he wanted. Or I could be wrong, and it could have been at the start that he soloed top side and he's pathing down, right? So we don't know that he's not coming for you, and between 2.5, 3 minutes is a pretty common first gank for junglers.
Yep.
So since we don't know where he is, and this is not a super great spot for us, like we do not want to be here.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Is another option in this spot, like let's say Thresh doesn't hit that hook, right? Like, and is it an option to want to save the bomb, throw it on the cannon, and try and crash the third wave in as well? Or is that, again, like, is it just, should I not even be thinking that? Is that a bad thought? And just to think, okay, let's let them shove this back and wait for it to push back and be in a more safe spot.
Well, you can. Like, that would definitely solve the problem.
Yeah.
The only could be scary part about that is if you, like right now, right? If you throw the bomb on the cannon, or like, first of all, right there, it's super scary because then you're looking at getting like grabbed by Pike. But let's say you don't do this fight, or you throw in a couple autos because he landed that or whatever, and then like right here, you throw a bomb on cannon and then use that to push. That totally works because Pike has used his grab. Right? Okay. Because Pike has used his grab, I'm okay with you using your bomb and trying to clear this, because like they don't have any big threat to like stop you. It's just a dangerous thing to use like that, because like your bomb is like all of your damage, right? Like if you have your bomb, you're a big threat. If you don't have your bomb, you're not really scary.
Yep, I gotcha.
So if he's already used his threat, you're good. But if he hasn't, then that's a bad idea.
Yep. Makes sense.
And so, like I said before, we want to let this push. We don't want to be autoing all this much.
Yep. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think when I'm playing Trist, especially, get into this like, let's just like auto shove the wave, all the like trying to be in control so I can roam up into the river and things like that if I need to.
Yeah.
Not that I'm always great at doing that either, but that's like kind of where my head's at. Is I'm trying to be better about being more proactive to help, especially in river, help around dragon. So I like to be in control of the wave.
Right. Yeah, and I just, that's a pretty common thought to have around this rank, but something that really that you need to like learn and get comfortable with is controlling the wave doesn't mean pushing. Like, because you can have like, if you can control the wave being here or in front of your tower, like just depending on like where you need it to be based on the matchup, and like you can control it there, meaning like they can't like move it. I
gotcha. Yep. Makes sense.
Because like even during the same matchup or the same game, like you might want it in different positions for different reasons.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Also, I just wanted to point out, Amumu just came out of river right here. Meaning, I don't know if he 3-camped here or I guess I can look. He probably.
I think going based on what the jungle camps are showing there on the, even though it's like hidden, it looks like he's cleared topside plus.
Yeah,
Raptors.
He did 4. Yeah, he's done 4 camps, so he probably did. He probably did his top and then did these 3 and then went up.
Yeah.
Or maybe something. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, my point is he came out of our bot river.
Yep.
And so he's choosing the gank mid, but he totally could have just came bottom, right? Like he was in this river and we were pushed up right in front of his tower.
Yep.
And maybe you might be able to get away with your W, but Thresh probably can't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. So it totally makes sense.
So I mean, we kind of lucked out the fact that he's going after mid, but just pointing out that is would have been a death for us.
Yeah. Definitely.
But good for us. We're out of that danger spot now. So I would definitely want to, because we want it, aside from this hook here, We definitely want it, like, we don't want it like right up next to our tower. We want it like right here in the middle, right in the like sweet spot.
Yep.
Because it gives us a chance to run away if we get ganked without getting like dove, and
Yep.
it means that if he lands a hook, like they have to run pretty far to get away, and like you're probably going to be able to get on top of them.
Yep.
So we want to just force it to stay right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I noticed you're putting the bomb on Pike again. Because, like, during this whole fight, like, you're not really looking to put it on Kaisa, it looks like.
Yeah.
Because, like, here, I understand he gets hooked. So, like, you're autoing minions here. But if you, like, walk up, like, here, or maybe into the minions here, like, you can start, like, pressuring her. Like, throw a bomb on her and start autoing her. Like, you're not going to kill her here, but you're trading damage, right? And you're trying to get her to back off instead of just pummeling your Thresh here.
I think what I was in a case like this, sometimes what I get concerned about is I see the size of their wave against ours, and I'm stepping up almost into their wave. Like, is that an okay spot to step up into to hit that? And like, yeah, I guess the other thing I'm thinking in my head is like, yeah, I know Pike previously went invisible. That's probably off cooldown, and he just used the hook, but he hasn't used the stun yet. So I was worried about stepping up to like try and auto the Kaisa, knowing that some of his other CC abilities are potentially still available for him.
Yeah. So I agree. Like, you don't want to you don't want to like walk up and
I don't
like
want to jump in.
yeah,
But
you don't want to jump in, and if she starts like running away, you don't want to like
yeah,
chase her in the middle of these minions. Like, I totally
okay,
agree. This wave is too big for that.
yeah,
But at range, you know, if you're like here
yeah,
or, you know, or here or whatever, like this wave is not going to be hitting you.
okay,
Or if it
got
is,
it.
it's going to be just a couple of the range minions. It's like none of these melees.
Okay,
Um
got it.
that's uh I don't know, do you watch much like YouTube content around like educational league content?
I've been trying to watch more. Yeah,
That's a problem. I feel like there's a big lack in like, I feel like ADC fundamentals and like ADC laning. Like a lot of it's
yeah,
centered around like mid lane and top lane.
yeah,
And like what you just said is a top laner's perspective, because they're almost all melee. And if you're melee and you have to walk up into this, then it's exactly what you said. Like, this wave is way too big, and that's a terrible idea.
yeah.
But as a ranged character, it's a totally different story.
Okay,
It's just I feel like a big hole in the educational content for League at the moment.
I gotcha. Yeah,
But anyway, yeah. So like, we're not looking to like all in or anything, but you just want to try and pressure this Kaisa to not like lay into your Thresh here. And also,
yep.
like, if you can get her down to, you know, make her lose like a third of her health or something for this damage on Thresh, like, it makes your situation a lot better.
Yeah. I heard what you said before though on like second, right, not dumping the ball on the Pike. I think there again it was like he was in front of me, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and throw it on him. But everything you said makes sense, right? He's got the gray health. He's gonna pull it back and really need to be throwing it on the Kaisa to try and push her out of the lane instead.
Yeah, and like in this particular moment where he's like getting up in your face and Kaisa was back, like I totally
Yep.
understand in that moment why you put it on Pike, and that's okay. But
Mm-hmm.
the problem that I have is that earlier you had a chance to put it on Kaisa in a good situation and you
And
didn't,
didn't.
which tells me that you're not looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Makes sense. So I have a question. Can you pause here? I have a question
Yeah.
for you, and I'm going to state like this. So here I'm thinking about now, like I'm low health. I'm trying to be safe. I just got pulled by the Pike, and then I see them start to back off, and Diego's coming down. But in a position like this, what should I be doing and thinking about? Like, I'll say maybe outside of when I'm playing Trist, right? That's somebody who's not going to auto push the wave. Like, should I be trying to go and freeze the wave in front of my turret and try and do something like that? Should I be trying to push it back to get to like somewhat of a neutral state and then back? Or is that kind of something to play a little bit by ear? Because in the current spot right now where I'm at is like, I'm thinking, it's cannon wave. I need to make sure I'm farming this, but I know the next wave coming in. So I'm thinking I probably need to farm this wave and then hard shove the next one and then base. But I don't know if that's the right way to think about farming that up.
So you don't have enough information to be able to make
Mhm.
that decision at the moment.
Okay.
Because it all depends on what happens with this gank, right?
Yep.
Like, if they get away and he just doesn't hurt them at all and he leaves, right?
Yep.
You're probably not going to be able to shove it because they're probably going to be shoving right back, and like you're just not going to be able to do that. Same thing with freezing. Like, is going to be hard. Like,
Okay.
in that situation, most likely they're going to get it to your tower, and then it's going to start slow pushing back to them, most likely.
Got it.
But what you should be doing is, like, we saw the Viegos coming. We saw them like walking up here. Like, this is like looking like, oh, this is potentially like a good gank here or a kill or whatever. And like, it doesn't necessarily like, you never know. Like, maybe he's gonna miss his ability or she's gonna flash away or whatever, right?
Yep.
But you should be. Have you heard the concept of hovering?
Yeah.
So like, you're sitting here like autoing minions, doing your thing, seeing like what's gonna happen. But I would do that, but like walk up here.
Yep.
And then so you can still be autoing minions, still be doing your thing. And then if he lands a stun, or if it's like looking good, you go boop. You jump over here, and now you're following up on his play.
Yeah. Yep.
Because if he makes a good play, you follow up on it, you can totally kill Kaisa, and then Pike maybe gets away, whatever. But then you can shove and reset, and it's like a great situation. And if not, you didn't like over dedicate or anything. Like, standing here is perfectly safe, right? You just walk back up here.
Right.
So like, you don't have to like, if you're not sure if a situation is good or not, you can be close enough to like help without like fully dedicating yourself.
Got it. Yep. Makes sense. Yeah, at this point I realized like I was still trying to grab the wave. I think I had pinged off the Viegos he was coming in, probably because of my position I was too far back, and he ended up he got pulled in, he got chunked, Thresh flashes in, Hue came down, and then there I ate a Kaisa W, so I started to back off, and this is where this game got a little sideways, because Kaisa ends up picking up all threes. I get away. I'm not really able to help at this point because I'm too low, but Kaisa picks up a triple kill, and
so yeah, let's go back through this again.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, first of all, the Viego going in solo here is super fucking silly, but
I still should have been in a position to be able to follow up, right? So he wasn't in there solo, so.
Right? Like even here, right? Like these minions aren't going anywhere. You have another wave coming in. Like, you can still be safely farming these while standing here.
Yeah. Right.
And then from there, you are like actually within range to like follow up on this.
Yep. And that would have prevented him from getting chunked as hard as he did, because they wouldn't have been, he wouldn't have been in their 1v2 tanking a wave of minions here in a second.
Right. If you're standing like here, they're a lot less likely to try this at all, because they're like, oh god, like Trist can jump in, and now it's like a 2v3.
Yep. Right.
So this is like a lot of League. It's like what he did was silly, but it was silly also because of what we did. So
you're right. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll fast forward through this. We already saw it. Oh, I also wanted to say that this jump here, following up on this pike.
Bad idea.
Yeah, like, I understand using the jump. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But just knowing that we're going up on a pike here, like, he's always going to dash away.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm fine with you jumping up, but just, you can't jump up, like, on top of everyone else like that. You need to jump, like, to the side.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I think I need to think of it more as repositioning than get, 100 free damage off.
Right. I wouldn't worry too much about the damage. It's more of a dash.
Yeah. Probably the worst dash in the game, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. About the CC buffering on her W?
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
No, that's nice. I meant more in terms of like the length of it, and then it's but
yeah. Okay, so do we reset here, or are you?
I think I was waiting for them to So here I was starting at base, and then I think I canceled because I saw they were crashing the wave in, so I wanted to try and grab that.
Okay, this is risky.
It is risky. I think, still thinking here. I have both my summoners. I have a bunch of mana. I probably was just not respecting the pike enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. You can stay there. I'm just saying it's risky, is all.
Yeah, definitely. And then this is kind of the situation, like knowing it was coming, that I wasn't sure about. So here I used the bomb. I was just trying to like shove this back in, but again, like I don't know about in a situation like this, like thinking back on it now, this is kind of dumb maybe that I'm reshoving this wave back into the Kaisa that like so now right now I go in base, I don't fully crash the wave in, and now it's effectively frozen in front of their tower. So just kind of a stupid decision, I guess, thinking back on it on my part.
Yeah, so I like that you're wanting to shove this. It's just that I think you did it a little bit wrong.
Okay.
So you used your bomb on this caster minion, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if instead of that, you put the bomb on the cannon and then did all 4 autos on the cannon.
Yeah.
It would kill the cannon way faster, and the explosion would probably kill these casters as well, or at least do significant damage.
Yeah, I don't know why. Normally I don't. I mean, I'm sure that I do it more than I think I do. But normally I would have thought that I would have just put it on the cannon minion. But yeah, it totally makes sense.
Because if you do that, this crashes and it doesn't freeze for them.
Yeah.
So the concept was right. It just execution was a little off.
Yep. So then, and I guess just while we're waiting for this to like get into like the next phase, this isn't backing. What should be my thought process here? Like in my head, it's okay. Kaisa picked up a triple kill with that other assist. Like I'm up a little bit in CS, and I had first blood, so it's not like the end of the world. But I know she's got an extra component on me. How should I be thinking about approaching this as I'm getting back to the lane as it's looking like this? Would you think?
So I mean, you guys are fairly close in items. Like she's slightly ahead. It's nothing like crazy.
It's not egregious.
Yeah, I honestly I don't think it changes much. Like, like you still want Thresh to land a hook on Kaisa. You want to WE onto her and blow her up, right? Like none of that has changed.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, I would say it's the same, but I would just definitely be looking to pressure her more than you have been, because like we've been talking about, you've been landing a lot more damage on Pike. But we always want to focus, like obviously you can hit the support if you can or you need to, whatever, but like ideally we want to be pressuring the ADC because they're the one that CS's, right? Mm-hmm. So the lower like we were talking about earlier, like when you were at tower and you stayed for that wave and you had like whatever it was, like 150 health or whatever it was, we're like, ooh, this is really risky to stay for these minions, right?
Yep.
Well, it's like a sliding scale, right? Like if you're full health, full mana, like of course I'm going to fight for these minions. Like I'm good. If you're down this much, you're like okay, like we can still go for something, whatever. Here at like a third health, you're like, oh man, I really want to back. Like I can't really fight for anything, And here you're like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And so that's always true for any ADC in lane. And so like, the more you can pressure her, right? Even if you're not like killing her, even if you're just like poking, the more you chip this down, the more uncomfortable you make it for her, and the more easy it is to make her miss CS.
Yeah.
Versus if you're doing that to the support, whether that's Pike or Lux or whoever. If it leads to a kill, that's good, but you're not. It's harder to affect how much like gold she's getting from CS doing that.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, I think the reason I asked the question was because in a situation like this, normally, especially being down, 2 kills, I'm thinking like, okay, I gotta get back in the lane. I gotta kind of, pull, try and just farm up as best I can. And I think I get hesitant about trying to, knowing like I'll be in a fight where against say somebody like a Kaisa that probably wants to be more up close and personal more than I do as a Tristana who can jump in. Because she can use her combo and isolate me if I'm in a bad spot. So that was what was in my head. And normally in situations like this, like I had another game recently. I think it might have been the one before this that I won where I was on Trist. I was against a Draven. We both got extremely fed, and it's like even knowing that their ADC is a couple kills, like I know that I play more tentatively with that. But anyway, maybe that's neither here nor there for what we're looking at now. But just so you kind of knew what was going on in my head at this point.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you still want to jump on her and do your combo. We definitely want to focus her because if we kill her and the Pike lives, we can still like shove the wave and do whatever we want.
Yep.
And then here specifically, like we've got Thresh behind enemy lines here.
Yeah.
So ideally, you want to be really pressuring her and trying to get her to like walk back into a Thresh hook here.
Yep.
So let's see what happens here. Uh-oh. Okay. I think
I completely left him for dead. That was an awful jump. I should have been up helping him get out of that situation rather than jumping backward.
Yeah, I think you're underestimating your damage a bit. Like
yeah,
like on this wave, like I said, we've got Thresh behind enemy lines. She doesn't know where he is. If he lands that hook, like we should win every time. Like, and like with your W, like it doesn't matter if she like flashes away. Like it doesn't matter. Like she's just dead. Like you're playing this very passively. Like you're like keep stepping back. You're like letting her get a lot more autos in. Like you're very clearly scared here. Like you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
I would be stepping up here and autoing her. Like autoing her and like start put your bomb on her and like start pressuring.
Yep.
Because like either she steps into you, in which case you can get your full bomb procced, which is great. Yep. Or most likely she starts stepping back and wanting Pike to help her because she doesn't want to take your full bomb. She steps back, Thresh walks up and lands his hook.
Yep.
And then you guys just win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're because especially with Tristana, she is definitely an all-in champion, right? Like,
trust me, I'm all for that. Like I said, I've been playing League for a while, and like I have the visions in my head of like Wild Turtle jumping in, on his Trist, into areas where he shouldn't. Like that's how I like in other games when I'm ahead. Like I'm all for being like way too deep more than I should. But I think I've had too many of those games recently where I've jumped in and probably later this game where I do that and then I die. And then it's like that's also living in the back of my head. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I understand. Every player has their trauma of like, I dove in and then they just blew me up and I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. But no, I completely heard though on what you were saying.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think the main thing that I'm taking away from everything we've just chatted so far on this is like I just got to be more focused around being able to trade that those like micro trades on the ADC where I get those opportunities for them. In pretty much every case so far, I've shied away from doing that.
And also as Trist being like all in, right?
Yeah.
The lower you get them with those little trades, the like easier it is for you to all in them. Because like if she's like full health, it's like okay, like Thresh needs to land a hook, he needs to land his flay, like we need to land our full bomb, like we need like everything to like get that kill. But like if we've like slowly worked her down to half health, it's super easy to all in get that kill. Like if she misplays at all. So like it makes a big deal on a champ like Tristana especially.
Here, I think I didn't know where the Pike was. We hadn't seen him yet. I knew that he went up and was in the river because they put the pink cord down, but I didn't know where he was, so I was hesitant about knowing before he showed if he was in the bush. And then they started just shoving it back in again. So I was at that point just kind of waiting for.
Yeah, well, I think this is a bit of the same thing again. Like, I agree. You don't know where he is, right? You don't know. He can either be up here or he can be like down here, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you walk up here and start autoing her and, throw a bomb on her,
what's
going to happen? Well, if he's here, he can't really get you because there's minions in the way.
Yep.
And if he's here, he has to walk up a bit to get in range anyway. And
So then
then,
with the ideal spot then, like if I don't know if he's either in the river or in the middle brush, would it effectively be like right next to the cannon minion on your line to be able to
yeah,
both
you'll
trade with, yeah, and then but use the minions as a barrier for his hook then?
exactly. Because, like, right here, you're
Okay.
safe from below, and above, it's too far for him to land a hook anyway. And
Yep.
so you can, like, trade, to actually maybe try and land a hook. And then, worst
Hmm.
case, you just walk back.
Okay. Yep.
This is, again, the same concept of, like, pressuring her when you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially because, because of Tristana's passive, like, scaling,
Hmm.
like, I think, outrange the Kaisa at this point. Let me see. Oh, maybe not.
It's probably getting close. If yeah,
It's fairly close. I don't know
yeah,
exactly what level you outrange her, but it's getting close.
yeah,
So I'm just saying, like, with you, like, trading autos and stuff, it's not like you're like, it's not like she's like wildly outranges you and it's going to be hard to get damage on. You know what I mean? Like,
yep,
you have a similar attack range.
yeah.
Okay. Nothing more you could have really done there. Good. I like that auto. Okay, so we want to start moving over to hover because this looks like a fight brewing that we might be able to.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Well, that is what it is.
Now I knew they were missing here, so I was trying to come down into the river. Figured I would shove this in and then pace.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I like that you went up to try and help. We weren't there in time, but that's not our fault. It's Viego's fault for picking a fight in river when we didn't have prio.
Yeah.
So you did what you could. No worries there. Yeah, there, you're shoving the wave correctly there. Nice. Okay.
All right. So this is another interesting fight here. So again, I was going on Pike because I saw him first, and then I was trying to use. I knew I was in a pretty bad spot, and I knew I had everything up to be able to get out if I could get the kill. So that was kind of what I was going for there, with the like jump bomb. Well, I was using the bomb as the kill, and that's something else. I'm trying to be better about not bombing people away when they're too low.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, that was well played. The only problem I have with that at all is the fact that you. Or let me see your cooldowns too. Just I assume you did the bomb whenever it came off cooldown, but let me just see.
yeah, it's a good question, honestly.
Yeah, 2 seconds, 1 second. Yeah, you're stunned. Jump in, bomb. Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of that. You played that really well. My only criticism is there's no reason to exhaust the pike there.
Yep.
Like the pike doesn't do any damage unless he's ulting you, in which it doesn't matter. He's executing you.
Yeah. The only thing in the back of my head was like I wasn't worried about the damage. I was worried about killing him so that I could use the W to get away again, and I didn't want him to get away from me. But maybe that's a really bad use of exhaust, though, to think like I need an exhaust to be able to chase somebody down.
Yeah, I mean, that is fair, and it did end up getting you that kill. So I mean, I think that was well played. I personally wouldn't have exhausted the pike, but
Yeah.
it worked out like you said. I don't know exactly if he would have gotten away or not if he hadn't had that slow, but that was well played for sure. Close.
Yeah, and I didn't want to chase them into their jungle there, so I was just pinging the Thresh off. I wanted to, since Kaisa was low, I wanted to try and shove this in and then get some pressure on their turret if I could, because the wave was building.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think that's the exact pressure that we've been talking about, where you're like
Yep.
really putting it on her, and like the more pressure you're putting on her, it's going to be easier for Thresh to land a hook because she's not just looking at him trying to dodge a hook, right? Like she's also
Right.
like trying to like kite away from you.
Yeah.
And then because like, you didn't even kill her, but you got her so low that she's still going to lose this wave, and
Right.
like losing this wave is like 200 gold. So I mean, like it's it's not 300 gold for you, but in terms of lost gold for her, it's basically a kill.
Yeah.
So it's still incredibly valuable.
And I saw that fight breaking out now up in the river. So my immediate thought was, okay, I got to come up here and start to try and be up here to help. And I made a really dumb play. It didn't end up being bad, but I ulted the Amumu toward the Hue, and he's probably wondering what the hell I'm doing. But we got the kill, so thumbs up.
Yeah, where was... Oh, I see. Well, whatever.
I think I thought I was going to get one more auto off, and the bomb was going to proc before it. Or sorry, I thought my ult was going to proc the bomb, but I was one auto off.
Yeah.
But
yeah, not a huge deal. It worked out. Oh, well played by Thresh.
Still there. Yeah, we got
Nice.
mad life over here.
So yeah, I was gonna say you should definitely stay for this wave. I'm glad you canceled that back.
Yeah. At this point, the only other thing going on in this game that I was also kind of thinking about in the back of my head was that the Yone is kind of giving it to the Rumble at this point. So like Kaisa had a couple kills. Or I guess Yone wasn't really too far ahead at this point, but he ends up getting there. But
yeah, this game is definitely a hard game. Like your team isn't doing great. But we need to reset here immediately.
Yeah. So right here, should I have, as soon as I got that wave into the turret, should I just be backing?
Yes.
And I think I end up dying because of this now. But
yeah, as soon as I saw you start autoing that tower, I'm like, nope. Like we need we need to leave it immediately. In fact, I think the problem was even earlier than that. That you didn't use your bomb to push this wave here. Because we want to get the fuck out of here. Because we're pushing the wave, awesome, very very good about that. But like you're so low health, like we can't jump in on Kaisa even if Thresh lands a hook. Like you'll probably still just die.
Yeah.
And like if we don't push this fast enough and they get back in lane, then
they kill us like they do.
Yeah, either they kill us if we're that slow, or if we're a little bit faster, we get away. But then they're here in lane, and then we try and like we reset, and then they just push it back into our tower and take 2 plates. In which case, like that's also terrible, right?
Yeah.
So like right here, you should be using your bomb to like push this as fast as possible, and then get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
And so the reason, do you know how I know that? Do you know why I'm saying that?
About the leaving?
Yeah, like about like why we should be like why like we need to do this as fast as possible and get the fuck out of here. Like how do I know that?
Well, I mean, based on
besides the point that we saw it a minute ago.
Yeah, so I mean the other piece was that Pyke was mid. We saw him roaming bot from mid. So it's probably, tipping off that, somebody else is going to show up. Like Pyke had been off the map he'd been on the map for a bit, and he has a base. So if he's running back without buying, they're probably coming to kill us, which is just another indicator that we got to leave.
Yeah, so that's definitely part of it, but there's something else here as well. Let me back this up because we
I mean, also the fact that I have an absolute ton of money that I have to go spend.
So I know that right here, that we need to shove this as fast as fucking possible and get out of here.
Yep.
So what the thing is Kaisa's reset timer is her respawn timer right here. So it's 14 seconds, right? So like she's not. We're not super far in the game where like she's gonna be dead for like a minute, right?
Yep.
So, we have time to shove this in because you're Tristana. Like if we were playing like Ash or something,
Yeah.
even with pushing this as hard as possible, like she's gonna get back before we do that. With Tristana, we can, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But still, like she's gonna be here sooner than we'd like. And like regardless, even if Pike fucks off and goes all the way top and is doing some shenanigans and like Amumu is just AFK like farming, right? Like even with all that, and Kaisa comes back here at the timing that she's going to because of her respawn timer. It's bad for us. Not that she's gonna like 1v2 just kill you, but what I was saying earlier about like if you stay for this plate and then you reset and then she takes 2 waves, crashes into the tower, and then takes a plate or 2.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that all makes sense.
So like just I guess to one more thing on that, like what I was saying about like if a Mumu fucks off in the jungle and Pike is like up here top for some reason, and like it's just like Kaisa coming down here and she gets the 1 or 2 plates and the several waves here, like that's the best case scenario for you staying.
Yep.
Like that's and then like what we just saw here is the worst case.
Yeah. Yep. And they dropped the Rift Herald down there too.
Right. Ultimate worst case.
Yeah.
So now we lose like 3 or maybe even 4 turret platings.
Yep.
Oh, Pike or not Pike?
Rumble TP. Yeah.
Not sure if that was a good TP.
Yeah. It's a very good question.
Okay, so let's take a moment here. Let's look at the items. So you guys are still basically even on items.
Yeah, I'm up 20 CS, so I guess that was the helpful part. I was farming, it's not amazing, but it's not awful either.
Yeah, something I haven't really talked about is we have missed a decent amount of minions. Just like not like because we were being like pressured off of them or anything, but just because. So that is definitely something to work on. I don't think at this particular elo, I don't think it's like keeping you down because like we can see here, like you're still up quite a bit of CS.
Yeah.
So I haven't made a big deal about it, but definitely something to work on at some point.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that one.
Like that one. Yeah. And that one.
Yeah.
So, again.
That's a shame. That was a free kill.
I was in a bad spot though too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like at the point where he was stepping up, right? Like Thresh, we had vision. I guess we don't see Pike, but I'm way back behind our minions, and if he's that far up, I need to be ready to do something with him if I see him starting to try and.
Yeah, you definitely could have been further up. It wouldn't have made a difference since you missed, but obviously you didn't know that at the time. So being further up definitely would have been good. Okay, so they're going to Dragon.
Yeah, I was hanging back. Thresh was back by the tower. I think we were probably all collectively trying to figure out what we were doing, and it felt like we were behind by a bit and that we probably weren't in a position to be able to contest. But they end up just getting Dragon for free. We come in, I think we scoop a killer. Maybe we might get 1 kill here, and then the others get away. I get that one, and then Amumu goes away, or he gets away.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just badly chased him, wasting. This is just a waste of time. Once he got away over the wall, I should have just backed off to go shove bot.
Yeah, I would say go bot. Because as soon as that Kaisa died, we have that same timer that I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
Like, you have time to freely go down bot, shove this, do a little bit of damage to the tower, and then reset without losing anything. If you waste any time, then you're eating into that. Now, if this was a free kill, right? Like, if the Amumu was, fucking...
If he didn't have flash, I guess.
Yeah, if he didn't have flash, or if he was, like, here,
Yep.
like, for sure get the kill. But, like,
Yeah.
it's not... this looks like a very unlikely kill to me. Like, it could happen if he does something dumb, but it's not worth it. Just push the wave.
Yep. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, and then we ended up dying for it. So I think, I guess I ended up getting a kill, but we traded 1 for 2, so it was really not worth in any sense.
Right.
Well, very, very not worth because I could have went bot and shoved. But
right, because we lost you and Thresh.
we probably could have taken the tower, to be honest.
Right, 2 of you died unnecessarily, and you lost all the you probably could have taken this tower, and you missed the CS down here.
Yep.
So it's like a compounding error.
Yeah, and at this point, this was where I think if you open the scoreboard, Yon had a couple kills. I think he had like 4 or 5 kills at this point, and he was kind of beating the Rumble up. So Rumble was trying to get out of the lane. I wasn't. I mean, I guess I was strong in the sense that I had a couple kills, and I think I was trying to go up to be able to try and get Rumble into a different spot where he could continue to farm, and I felt like I could at least not get completely blown up by Yon, although that was questionable.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my thought of why I was going top, and why I think Hui ended up going down bot. But then I ended up just kind of like fucking around in the jungle for a bit because I was worried about where Yon was and was waiting for the wave to come back.
Yeah, I don't mind any of that. It's not great for you being top, but based on the lanes that were available to you, like I totally agree with you going top. You want to get back mid. I don't mind that at all. And then I understand going back top to help him with this. And Yon backed off, so okay, let's just go back mid.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that a lot. You're pressuring her, and she got away because she had flash. But if she doesn't have flash, she dies there.
Yep. So then another question for you, I guess. We don't have to pause. I think here I get away because
it looks like you get away.
A couple of those things, and I jump out. But
yeah.
I guess the position I'm in here is that like Hui's not doing bad, and Viego's got some damage on him, but Rumble's really not coming to the party and bringing much. I feel like if there's any chance to win this, like I got to start to kind of do some stuff. And granted, here I just get caught really badly, and so I'm not going to be doing stuff by being dead. But I feel like if there's a chance, like I gotta kind of take control of the game here a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if that's the right way to think about it.
Well,
or if I should just be thinking, okay, let me just keep farming up and we wait for an opportunity to find a pick because we have Thresh and we have Viego, and maybe we can make something happen off of around a Baron or a Dragon or something.
Yeah, so I think that mindset in this particular game, I think you're better off looking for a pick.
Okay.
And the reason that I say that is you are not behind, but you're not particularly fed. Right.
Right.
Exactly. And we could even say you actually are a little bit behind now versus like the Kaisa, because like she has 2 items now and you don't quite have your second one.
Yep.
So you're even a little bit behind, and everyone else is behind by quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So given that none of you are particularly strong, picking a fair fight and like just trying to be very proactive about it is you're probably just gonna lose, right? Because everyone's behind. So the only way that you're really gonna kind of get back into it is by looking for picks and looking for like you could say like unfair fights, right?
Yeah.
Now that conversation is totally different if we had played bot a little differently, like maybe a little bit more aggressive, pressured the Kaisa more, and say we had 3-4 more kills and she was weaker, or maybe we had a massive CS advantage or something. Then that conversation is different because you're super fed, and then you might be able to carry some of these fights.
Right.
But given where we are now, like you definitely don't want it. Like any 2v2, 3v3, like it's looking kind of dicey at this point. It's especially true since you're playing Tristana, because it's not like Tristana is like an insane scaling champion, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're like Kog'Maw or Jinx or something. Like we kind of have to. That's just super spooky, by the way. Walking into that bush.
Yeah, I saw so it didn't really show up. I saw the TP coming in, and so I knew Yon was coming in, and then I backed off, and then he went to go grab the wave. So then, as soon as I saw him on the wave, I was going to clear the pink ward. Was the only thing I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So he backed. I saw him back, so I knew I was safe. Saw the ward, and then TP was coming. It does not showing on the client here, but.
Yeah, well, like all that was fine. What I mean is walking right now back into this bush.
Oh, I got you. Oh, before the yeah.
I mean, I guess never mind. It's actually okay now. Never mind. It's fine.
No, I mean, what you were saying though, I mean, makes sense though, right? Like, yeah, like Yon was barely out of vision. Like, I should be playing that safer to make sure that.
Yeah, well, it's also just I didn't know if he had his R or not, and just like his ERQ is pretty fucking far. Like it's, and if he lands any of that on you, you're dead.
Yeah, I think I'm about to find that out here shortly.
Yeah.
Rumble gets blown up. He's got 4 levels on me. Yeah, I end up just getting, or he goes for Rumble, and I grab the kill. But
well, that's huge for us. That is very lucky. I think he could have just killed you and left. But
yeah, he absolutely could have. Yeah.
But that's huge for us getting that shut down.
Yeah. So I'm basing here because I'm seeing that bot lane is getting absolutely kicked in. And Diego's down there, but they have the Herald. So I'm thinking I got to back. We got to get my second item, and I got to try and show up to help if they try and push another turret down.
Yep, I totally agree. Hopefully, let's see. What do we have with that? After we got 2 items now after that shutdown.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so unfortunately that doesn't make us super fed, but it kind of brings us on par with the enemy team, which is a great start. Yeah, go ahead and shove this wave. I know you want that dragon, but we don't really have the team for it.
Yeah.
We can look down to maybe catch a kill here as they exit. No such luck, unfortunately.
Yeah, I see the Pike. I think I jump on him here because he was kind of messing around in the bush, but he's going to get away because he's Pike.
Yeah, that's okay.
This was a bad fight.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was just, I was showing up late. We shouldn't have been there in the first place. It was just a bad fight to be in that spot.
Yeah. Just that same thing we were talking about before. It's just like, it's if it's even at all, like you guys are going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
And you guys are actually outnumbered there, so it's
and then at this point the game, I mean, it definitely at this point it felt like it was over, and I think a lot of these games, like at this point, like they're where I'm in a relatively low elo, so like they can totally flip back, but it's like when there's fed Yon, fed Kaisa, and they have a Pike and some an Amumu that isn't completely useless. Like it's definitely tough to. It felt like it was going to be tough to come back in this one from this point.
Right. Yeah, I have like. You'll hear like high elo people say like, oh, like don't ever surrender like lower elo games because they're trash, and you can always make a comeback, like whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's true if you're a high elo player smurfing.
And that was the other. Yeah, that was the other thing too. The Yon and Amumu were Smurfs in this game. I think they were both on like silver accounts.
Oh yeah.
So going into this game, I think I even said in the chat, I was like Yon and Amumu are Smurfs, and then the two of them are kind of popping off and helping kind of carry this game. So that was another thing. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah, but yeah, I just like it. Yeah, just people say that, and I think it's kind of toxic, honestly. Because like, I mean, like we could go through this and be like, oh yeah, well, like when you got grabbed by the Amumu here, like you could have done a little micro sidestep to dodge that, and then popped your bomb on him and killed him, and then jumped over the wall, and like whatever. Like you can like say, yeah, if you're like a high elo player like smurfing in here, like yes, it's possible, but like it's not like super realistic for like the current skill level we're working with here. It's like
games don't feel like they last nearly as long either, so it's like you don't have those like barren flips like you would have had a couple seasons ago or like back in the day. Like
for sure. I agree. This game looks fairly over. I mean, unless you guys get some hero play.
No, we don't. I think we end up like Thresh dies. They end up circling around mid. I try and make a play. I think I die here. Yeah. Same thing kind of happens. Like they end up. I mean, I think they, from just looking at the timeline there, I think they take Baron, they come around mid, and then I blindly jump into another fight trying to blow Kaisa up. And it's at this point my brain kind of was off because I knew it was somewhat over. But
Right.
Yeah, Huey was kind of pushing in bot, which was nice. But again, Thresh got picked again. I jump out. But yeah.
Yeah, like I said, like there are things you could do here to try and turn this around, but like,
Yeah.
just I don't think it's very productive to talk through a game like this about like,
Yeah.
okay, here's how you can come back from this fucking doomed situation. I think it's a lot
Yeah.
more productive to go over the like, why did we get here in the first place?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Which
Completely makes sense.
because I just think it's just wasted energy, and you know what I mean, like you just shouldn't be here in the first place.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, we can go through just if there's anything else that is worth talking about. But I think this is probably the end of this VOD for our purposes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, completely makes sense. And I was taking some notes down on my side. And again, I very much appreciate the, your time and being able to chat here this first time and
Yeah, totally.
being able to help. So,
well, yeah. Any questions about like? I think the main thing that we talked about that I would really like to see you work on is just really putting a lot more pressure on the enemy ADC specifically, and like trying to like work them down prior to like all-inning them. Like obviously, if you're like Thresh lanes a hook or whatever, like all in them, but like prior to that, like you can still put pressure on them.
Yeah. No, I think I don't have any other I don't think I have any other questions right now. Everything you said makes sense, and that was for me as we were talking through it, like time and time again, right? That was kind of the major thing that was jumping out. I definitely need to do better at this game, and as I've been watching some YouTube videos recently, like on content, trying to learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on that, and I clearly, I don't do a great job with it, obviously, but I'm trying to do more of that and be better about harassing and pressuring in lane. So I'll definitely keep a closer eye on that and try and do a better job of that.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's the main thing, and I think probably number 2 is just the timers. So like like getting that kill on like Kaisa, and then like knowing that you like the
like
speed
basing without giving up stuff and being able to show up back in the lane at the same time, and
exactly like just having a good idea of that is I think is the second thing to work on, but number 1 is like putting proper pressure. Okay, cool, man. Well, I think that's pretty much it. We can I guess end the coaching there.